we will address the topic of the cut, and in particular the cut tool. So, during our modeling process, we will need to cut various different parts and components of our mesh. You may have often noticed that when I present the tools, I have edges that are in the middle of my faces. I have several of them, but how do we insert these edges? So apart from subdiv, I haven't taught you how to do it yet. Well, we can basically insert edges into our mesh one by one, and we can even essentially add several at once. So what we are going to do is select this cylinder here in this 3D modeling software, and then carefully select it right over here. We press Shift and right-click. So we remember Shift and right-click, which is really our toolbox, where we will find many very useful tools. So we simply hold Shift and right-click, and then we can easily navigate and open the MultiCut. That's our tool. So we have several different ways to effectively cut. The first method, and often the one we use the most, is to carefully insert what we call an edge loop. So an edge loop is an edge that goes all the way around. So it makes a loop, it forms a loop. And to do this, you simply need to press Ctrl, hold down Ctrl, and then you can see that we have our edge loop that we can activate wherever we want. So for example here, I can just hold Ctrl to add another one. For instance here, as I wish. For example, if I want to extrude at the center with a small thickness, I click here. I click right here, just right here. I release Ctrl, I switch to W to get out of the cut tool. I right click, I make a face. I simply zoomed in, and then after that, I hold down the Shift key and double click on it to start selecting the entire edge loop of the model. And now I'm going to extrude there. And there we go. We switch back to object mode and we've done that. And we couldn't do that without having these famous edges in precise locations. So that's really fascinating. Indeed. Another small tip when using the cut tool is to be able to place our edge loop much more precisely and accurately, very precisely. As you can see, I am back with the cut tool, and when I press CTRL, I can place it wherever I want. And I have a sort of percentage here, 72%, 14%. And let's say I want to place it between this edge and that edge, which means at 50%. So I can do it, but I will have to be super precise. You see, I will never be exactly at 50%. To do this, you just need to click the middle mouse button, and it will automatically place you in the middle of the two edge loops at the end. That is to say, now if I want to make an edge loop in the middle of these two, I hold down Control and click the scroll wheel. You see, I can be right there, and it will place me in the middle. And I can do the same here, here, here. It will take the middle. Here it will take the middle too. Here it will take the middle. And there you go. And that's really useful. Just a small note. I use the cut tool horizontally here. But of course, it can also be done vertically. You can use the scroll wheel, or if you want very precise locations, you can have fun placing edges exactly wherever you want, easily and accurately. One way to do it in a simple way. Then there is a method that is a little bit more specific, which is to make cuts not with edge loops, so not adding edge loops, but edges, and that's very simple and straightforward in the process. So I am in object mode. In the 3D view, I press Shift and right click, and then I go back to the cut tool. And here, you will notice that we can, if I carefully place my cutter on one of the vertices, we can also take we can cut either from a vertex or here, for example, if we want. Similarly, we will come and draw the shape we want. And there we go, we simply either connect to an edge or a vertex to finish our edge. And there, bam, we have this shape. So of course, as I was explaining to you, we are dealing with an n-gon here. And the n-gon is not what we like, because indeed, it's super simple. Here we will be able to create the shapes we want, simply and calmly. But afterwards, the topology is not good at all. So it's really handy for doing blockings, it's super fast, super cool, but you have to pay very close attention to the topology. It's extremely important. So that's one thing, but we can also use this cut tool a bit more freely while maintaining a nice topology. For example, let's say I want to make a quad in the center. So you see, as soon as I move, it takes the vertex and draws a line for me. So if I press like this, it already creates a line. I don't need to do this and that. So it prevents having a double vertex. Because sometimes we can have vertices on top of vertices and that's not great. So let's say I want to draw a quad in the center of my face so that I can extrude it later. So yes, you might guess there are other ways to extrude, other ways to do this, but if we want to do it with the cut tool, then I'll show you a little bit of what I want to do. I am planning to draw a quadrilateral shape right here on this spot. Once I have it in place, I will snap it into position. So to draw this quad, it's great. It will have 4 corners. So here, its face will be a quad. However, here we will have to deal with a handgun. And to solve this problem, we will cut here, we will cut here, we will cut here, we will cut here. And what will happen is that we will have a quad, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices, 1, 2, 3, 4 edges, the same here, the same here, and the same here, and the same here. Essentially, in this way, we will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quads on our face. So come on, that's what we're going to do. We'll switch back to object mode. We'll do Shift, right click, multi-cut, and there, bam. I am just now starting to draw my shape, and I am going to carefully begin to draw my shape with great attention to detail and precision. So there, I will stop right there because I want to then continue with the line. So if I do this, it will recreate an edge, which is not what I want, so I undo. I press enter, and it created my first portion. We will do it portion by portion. Then I go from there if I want to. I create my second shape, and then I press enter. And then, as I told you, it acts like a magnet. You can definitely do that, but in some cases, it can lead to problems. So prefer this, but if you ever have trouble, we can still do it like this. I create my third shape, and I create my fourth shape. So yeah, it's definitely not perfect at all, because I did this a little bit freehand, you know, but we can still move our edges as we wish, and freely and easily and effortlessly reshape our square into any desired shape. And now I go back to the face and I can basically extrude with Shift and left click, and there you go. So that's essentially one way to do it, and it allows us to work quite cleanly. Actually, there is another tool that is very similar to the MultiCut tool found in S. We have the Mesh tool and the Insert Edge Loop. Normally, you can also find the Insert Edge Loop tool by basically holding Shift and right-clicking. So, one thing to know is that immediately you see a small square here, it means there are parameters we can enter to modify the behavior of our tool. This is valid, and similarly, by double-clicking, for example, if I double-click on the bevel, it will open a settings window. So you can go have fun looking at what it does. I won't tell you in detail. But basically, we can essentially change the parameters of each tool. The same goes for the extrude. And what interests us here is for the Insert Edge Loop too. So here I do Shift right click. I am specifically focusing on the square because I want to have the parameters. And here we will see. If you want, thanks to the Insert Edge Loop, we can insert multiple edge loops at the same time. Earlier, we inserted an edge loop one by one, so it can be very interesting. But if we want to go faster, because we know what we want, we can insert multiple edge loops. So here you can position yourself on multiple edge loops. And we want, for example, such as 4 edge loops. So we either minimize this window in case we need it later. And here we can see that we have selected our Insert Edge Loop tool because it is displayed. What we are going to do is click on an edge with the left mouse button, and you will see that it produces 4 edge loops as we requested. 4 edge loops that are equidistant, each at the same distance, with the same interval. You just have to release the left click and there you go. It goes super fast. It's going really fast, and it's super interesting to do this. In particular, as I explained to you last time, if we want a harmonious topology, this is a nice topology because it has regular intervals. We can also do the insert edge loop in this direction. So we will take this edge loop that is horizontal, and there we go. Now we will do exactly the same here, and we end up with something pretty good. We can do that here too. There. And now we have something that is great. There you go.